ready? The time has come. Let the show begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So have you seen the movie Michael, based on Michael Jackson?
Yes, sir.
All right, give me your review. What do you think? What'd you think?
I think the acting was good. I think the singing was good.
I agree.
I think the storyline was lacking
Why?
because I expected to know something that we didn't already know.
Well, I think we probably...
But I understand that because of legal reasons, a lot of stuff they couldn't include.
What do you think they should have included they didn't?
I mean, there's so much more behind the scenes just about his life and how he was that they didn't tell. Like, there were lawsuits and different stuff that he got into.
True.
That they couldn't talk about because I guess in the contracts
Lawsuits
it
like
stated
what?
that. I can't remember the details,
Well, would that make...
but I heard different stuff.
Would that make...
Yes, because it was him making moves. It was different stuff that he was doing, and they would try to sue him for
Right.
stuff,
I
or
got
he
you.
ended up suing people for
I get-
infringing on just the business aspect of him becoming who he was.
Because he was a pretty astute businessman.
Very much so.
As I understand, he purchased the Beatles catalog. And I don't know...
Then there is supposed to be a part 2 coming.
Okay, well,
So,
we will see.
They may do better.
Well, yeah, I think it was good. I agree with everything. I dug the music piece of it. I guess, I'm a music lover
Absolutely.
at heart, and I like that some of the songs they made them full length, and you just kind of got to see. And I agree, the acting was superb. It was like that was his nephew Jafar. He definitely channeled Michael.
Absolutely.
And
I think that's what part of the thing that made everybody love it so much is that we missed Michael and his music.
I agree totally. I think it was definitely. I hated the whole. I guess they did AI before AI was a big thing with Michael. I guess they did a song or a part of a concert footage. This was some years ago, and everybody was a little freaked out by it. And I guess now it wouldn't be so. But I think we've had our conversations about AI versus real life, and I am so glad. This was not AI.
Absolutely.
I am glad.
That would have been horrible.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad they was able to family. What do you think about Joe Jackson, the role that he played? Or just there's some talk going around. I want to see where you would go with it. I'm going to offer my point of view.
Talk as far as
Joe Jackson being the villain, being the menacing.
I mean, that's been the storyline since forever.
Yes.
As far as the abuse and him trying to get over. I mean, I heard a long time ago when, like they said, when he had Michael do the tour, like he didn't want to do it back then.
Right.
I mean, I remember
being there.
hearing about that.
Well, I think sometimes, me as a black man, if you didn't know, I hate the imagery that gets forecast about us on movies, and especially when you talk about very popular figures. Because I say this, without Joe, you don't get Michael.
And that's what I was going to say is I get that they want to tell that aspect of who he was and how he pushed them and all of that. But at the same time, I think he still needs to be given credit for getting them to being who they are. Because, like you said, without him, they wouldn't have made it that far. If he didn't push them, they wouldn't have had the work ethic and all the stuff that, it wouldn't exist. So
exactly.
Two things can be true. He can be a bad person or, do some bad things and still create a good product.
Well, I think sometimes that's the whole thing. The overshadowing is he's bad.
Right.
And I think I hate that, he's not given a human side because, again, this is almost bounced into a question we're going to ask later on. I was able to interview a elder in my family, who was born in Arkansas in the 1930s, and just how life was for them at that time. I know we're in the quote-unquote post-racial, but that's not really true. It's a great statement to say, but life was hard for them in my family, and I can only imagine for them. That's why a lot of them migrated from the South up to the North to try to make a better life, working the farm, working all the acreage. They didn't get fair wages or fair prices for when they took their products to market, and they had to take what they could get because there was just no other way. So all the work that they did, because they were literally working from sun up to sundown, it may have been on their own land, or they may have been sharecroppers, which was even worse, that they were not getting their just due. So those were places of pain for them. And you take it with Joe Jackson, it's like, man, I don't ever want to go back there again.
Right.
And then you get up north and you're working at a steel mill. You're working just as hard. You may be getting a little bit more money, but racism is still alive and well. And so with that, you're talking about, marginalized red line communities that most blacks stayed at in the 60s and the 70s. And so
he saw his way out.
Yeah, he saw this was the way out. And I think, one of the things I think that was very strong, he was very pro-family. And, I think that's the message that doesn't get told about black men so many times. It's, we abandon our kids, we don't take care of our families. And here you had a man who understood in some form or fashion, if you can add some humanity to him, he understood he had a job to do. And he had to get Micheal to us.
And, sometimes just thinking about parenting in general.
Right.
And how they say, we aren't supposed to be our kids' friends. In parenting, I feel like there's the point where your kids aren't going to like you.
That is true.
They shouldn't like you.
Right. We ain't friends. I'm your dad.
That part.
Right.
Because I have a job to do. Right. And my job is not always going to be pretty.
Right.
So to make sure that you are a full functioning independent adult.
Right.
In your childhood, I'm going to make you mad.
Right. I'm going to upset you.
Yeah.
I might have to put some hands on you legally. But but I think, again, we go back to Joe Jackson. We're talking about, I am a Chicago native, born in Chicago.
Were you?
Yes.
I did not know that.
1968, I'm telling my age.
How long you been in Kansas City?
I came here when I was 5 years old.
Oh, you a Kansas Cityan.
Yeah, for sure. But I definitely have some strong memories when it comes to Chicago. During that time, gangs were on the rise. Chicago gangs were to be known as being very organized, more organized than any other gangs around the country. But nonetheless, there were criminal activity. And Gary, Indiana is a stone's throw away from Chicago. So you're talking about the Jackson family, 10 kids, or 10 kids that had to be protected from the streets. Was
it that many of them?
Yeah, 9. We're talking about a Jackson 5. We got
6,
Latoya,
7,
Janet.
8. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a very small home. And, it's a story to be told. I think that's the piece that doesn't, get mentioned a lot, because I saw an interview with Tito Jackson, and he talked about, hey, the neighborhood, it was okay, but gangs were there. And he said, but Papa didn't play that. And everybody in the hood knew. And I think, as a father, sometimes, again, your job may not be liked, but you gotta protect your family.
Right.
And you gotta, sometimes you gotta do the things that people don't like, but you gotta get the job done. And Joe, in my opinion, he understood that and he got the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, what family, especially black family, we're talking about almost 50 years from the start of Jackson 5, that is still living. Mike has been reinvented already. he could release Thriller and probably sell 25 million.
All over again.
All over again.
That is true.
Just like, you know, that would have been, what, 1983, 84? Yep, 84. And, you know, who does that? So you gotta, you know, I think you gotta give Joe his props, hate him, love him, or whatever. But, you know, not very many. Well, I can't name not one black family that has been able to have a long living legacy as that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You got Prince, but Prince was by himself. And there was I like the little nod that Mike gave to Prince. Yeah. Because they were going. I tell you one thing I really enjoyed too was I'm glad they told a story about MTV. Mm-hmm. Because I can remember seeing a documentary talking about MTV, and they said that Michael was one of the first videos featured on MTV. And I almost got out of my seat like, nah, that's a lie. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. Because I remember MTV did not play black videos at all. And I can remember, I gotta give a nod to a cat called Malcolm McLaren. He had a song called Buffalo Gals. And he was a white artist, and he had wrote a song, but he featured people of color, blacks and Latinos, doing breakdancing. And so that's how it kind of was able to get in rotation. But back in that day, I can remember sitting around almost all day trying to wait for that one video to play so you could see the moves, the breakdance moves or whatever. But yeah, Mike had to definitely fight. I remember the NAACP had picketed as well because MTV, and I'm going on, MTV did not play any black artists when it first came out. And so I'm glad they told that part. And I think that's the piece also, giving my credit to Joe, he had to prepare his boys for racism.
Yeah, to deal with that.
Yeah, to deal with it and to be smart with it. Because, you know, I like that Joe didn't settle for the little pennies and the little chains they was throwing on the stage. He's like, nah, we can do something bigger and better. And they did. And, you know, you had mentioned the lawsuits and things that they didn't put in the movie, but that just lets you know how astute Michael was in taking care of his business. And again, 50 years, well, Mike has been gone with almost 10 years, a little over 10 years now, if not more. And this dude is still hot. He ain't relevant. He hot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He hot.
For sure. For sure.
He hot.
That he is.
Hot fire.
And will forever be.
Yeah, you know what? You could say that. You could say that. And
yeah.
So you got to say, hey, Joe, thanks, man. Appreciate it. You did your job, dude.